We love that tune. Hello, welcome to Sunday here at Crafters TV. It is lovely to have your company. As always, the guilty party's name is there. That'll be me popping in with my Advent shirt on today because we're counting down, of course, to the big day. Are you on the naughty step or are you on the good list? I think you'll probably be on the good list. And if you're not, well, you know, there's always next year, isn't there? With me, my partner in crafty crime this Sunday for this wonderful masterclass, which is all about butterflies and blooms, is the wonderfully blooming Jan Brown. Jan, good afternoon.
Oh, thank you, Derek. It's lovely to be back again. I seem to have just talking earlier. It seems to be my second home these last few weeks. It's like the only place I go. It's sort of, this is my day out, coming to work.
I know, it's great, it's great, isn't it? It's nice just to get out of the house, isn't it?
It is, definitely.
It's lovely. We're going to spend the next couple of hours with you with something really, really special from an amazing friend of ours here at Crafters Companion, which is Sharon Callis, of course. She's an amazing illustrator. I tell you what, her work has real feeling to it as soon as you see, because you think, don't you, from a die or a stamp, you think how much detail, how much character can you get into it? Well, Sharon Callis comes up trumps time after time after time, and this is a beautiful butterflies and bloom collection, and that's what we're masterclassing on today, which is going to be absolutely amazing. Now we're going to start backwards, I guess, so we're going to show you what it can make first, and then we'll show you how to put it all together. So Jan, you've got some finished ones over there, haven't you?
I sure have. And do you know, when this landed on my desk, Derek, I actually let out a sort of a sound, a cheer of joy, because I love working with butterflies, and these are absolutely exquisite. They really are. It's the first time I've had a chance to play with them, and boy did I have fun. It was like, where to start? So I've just got a few samples to show you before we get cracking on what's coming up later in the show. So these sort of like show you which dies are available, and they're basically a set. You get sort of like a set of layering dies and lots of different things you can do with them. So we've got the easel card there, just with that little thinking of you sentiment, which is part of the collection. And then the little flowers, the quill flowers, are part of the collection as well. And then, you know, if you're not a card maker, then think about sort of making the gift side of things. This one's actually a little gift bag.
Wow.
So again, using that decoration there to pop on the side and actually make them into gifts rather than cards, you know. So again, just by using different colourways, and this is all part of the collection, the stamps in there and everything. Really, really pretty.
And those bags cost next to nothing.
You know, you can buy them
yeah.
in packs from those lovely cheap shops, and it's just nice, you know, sort of like when you go shopping to look for something like this, A, I can never find what I'm looking for, and B, there's so much money. So I just think, you know, make your own, personalise it. There's also some sets of stamps and dies in there as well. So this one's been stamped out and then cut out with the die. Again, you've got those absolutely gorgeous sentiments in this collection, and the little quilling flowers again. And then there's a second stamp and die set, which you can put together something along these lines there. So we just used our embossing folders. You know, I'm always talking about mixing and matching things with stuff that you've already got in your stash. So just a few there to show you. There'll be some more coming on throughout the show, but I think Derek's got an idea of what's available.
Well, yeah, let's start shopping, shall we? And it's lovely to have so many of you with us, by the way. Lovely to see you again. Laurie's in from Ohio. Sarah's in Melbourne, Australia, where it's tomorrow already.
Oh,
it's
wow.
gone midnight in Melbourne, Australia. So Sarah, welcome as always. Georgianne is in from Clearwater in Florida. We've got Diana in Indiana, Bridget in the Netherlands, oi oi, and lots more of you. I hope you're all dressed as well. Right, let's start breaking down this collection one by one. We have got a big collection, but let's start focusing in on some of the specific areas that you will love doing. And we know already, based on what you've been buying so far, that you love quilling. So we've got a wonderful, wonderful little bundle of the 2 quilling dies from Sharon Callis. We love quilling. We absolutely love it because one die makes the entire flower, and that means you can run it through again and again and again. And I think I'm right in saying, Jan, that this will run through your mini as well, won't it, the quilling die?
Yes, it will. I'm going to use the mini when we cut them later, yeah.
Good. So you can go through the mini, the midi, the junior, the Gemini, the Go, whichever one you've got, you can go. So you've got the peony and you've got the wonderful rambling rose in that wonderful bundle there. And look at that climbing, Rose, I beg your pardon. Rambling, climbing, I'm rambling, the Rose is climbing. Let's remember that. £14 or $17.50, which is absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. Right, let's look at the stamp and die collection right next, which is really, really lovely. Now, this comes with the Butterfly Love and the Butterfly Friendship as well. Now, these are two of the key dies in this collection, and they are beautiful. Everyone loves butterflies, don't they? Because they're a joy to work with. They're a joy to colour. And look at the detail in the images as well. You are going to love putting the projects together for those as well. £23 or $30.50. Remember, if your basket or cart goes over 40, today you are going to get a free gift from us, which is that beautiful stocking decoration for your Christmas tree, which is absolutely fantastic. And all the profits for that are going to the Bradley Lowry Foundation as well, which is superb. Now, did I hear a rumour somewhere that there's triple points going on today as well?
There sure
That
is.
sounds all right to me. So the more you shop, the more points build up. Let's get you to platinum this weekend. That would be amazing. Right, let's have a look at the metal die collection. Again from Sharon Callis, again Butterflies and Blooms. You've got to have this whole collection, I know, but if you want to break it down, maybe you've got some parts of it already and you want to top up, then this is brilliant because you've got the 4 dies here. So you've got the Mariposa. Now, is that Spanish for butterfly or is it Italian for butterfly? I forget. I forget. I'll look it up in a moment. We've got Vanessa, and then we've got the Thinking of You die and the Sending Love die as well, which is amazing. And again, this has a really, really nice saving on the bundle as well. £30 or $41, which is superb. Now, let's put the whole thing together. So the quilling dies, the stamps and dies, and the dies together as one big collection, and then you get a bigger saving on that as well. So here it is in its entirety. It's absolutely fantastic, and you're making extra savings there as well. So £62 or $84. I've worked out your price if you're platinum. So if you're US platinum, let's see if I've got this the right way around. If you are £67.20 if you're US platinum, and if you're UK platinum, it's £49.60, which is superb. Triple points on that, whatever you spend this weekend, which is really, really good, isn't it? I love this. Now that, remember, gets you those quilling dies, it gets you the stamps and dies, so all of the butterflies, all of the florals that you would want and you would need, because if you're going to be watching this masterclass and watching the demonstrations, you will want everything that it can do as well. Remember, if your order goes over 40, then you will get that free decoration, the free stocking decoration, which will adorn your tree something like this, which is beautiful. Hopefully your Christmas tree is a little larger than our little bush at the moment, which needs a bit more decorating, I think, which is superb. So remember that all the way through the show. It's fantastic, and it's doing good for a fantastic charity as well. Right, there's plenty more on Shop the Show as well. There's lots of other bits and pieces today. If you're after paper pads, by the way, if you're a bit of a paper pad fiend, then you definitely want to have a look at Shop the Show, because there's a nice selection there of our textured cardstocks in 12x12s and 8x8s. But listen, enough from me, because this is a masterclass. So any questions you've got, get them in right now via our Facebook page or via our YouTube channel as well. And I will put your questions to Jan as we go along. So Jan, where are we going to get started today?
Right, so I was just going to explain a little bit about the masterclass, Derek, because I know people tune in sort of all the time to watch us. And our brief behind this is basically sort of along a teaching line. And as a lot of you know, I come from that kind of background, so I love this side of the job. But basically what we want to do is try and show you how to use the products. And I suppose that applies with all our demonstrations at the end of the day. It's giving you ideas, giving you some inspiration as to how the collection works. And any of you guys that know me know that I like to think outside the box. I like to try and do something a little bit different. So I've got a series of demonstrations today that sort of almost increase in I was going to say complexity, but I think that's probably too strong
advancement,
a word.
Maybe.
Advance, yeah. So to start off fairly straightforward and then taking it right through towards the end of the show, bringing it into things like home decor projects and things like that. So I'm going to start off with one of the metal dies. So a set of 3 metal dies in here. Show you what you get for your money in a second. And this one I was drawn to purely because the title of it is called Vanessa. Now I know that is a type of butterfly, but it's also my eldest daughter's name.
Oh.
So I was like drawn into it. I don't know whether they're watching today, but if they are, just a hi to them. And my little grandson can't understand why Nana keeps appearing in the telly. But yeah, sort of like we'll play with this one first. So
Jan, just a quick one as well. Mariposa, Susan's just sent me through. It's Spanish for butterfly.
Right, I wasn't sure. I must admit, languages is not my my sort of forte, but I knew it was one of those. I've got an old paper pad at home somewhere called Mariposa, which, funnily enough, is full of butterflies. Oh. So just to show you what you get for your money there, and I can see a sneaky little bit just left in there where I was playing with these over the weekend. So you get 3 pieces in this particular set. So that comes in the shape of an outline die. So I'll pop these on here so that you can see them. And then you get a decorative element, which you could use for, you know, pretty much anything. And then you get the butterfly comes separately, and he fits in there. So you can see we're going to cut all this out, and you can see how that sort of the composition comes together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight in with some glitter card today, because that's always a good test of dies, as to see what their capability is. If they'll cut through the glitter card, we're on to a good thing. So let's bring in, I've got some, you know, I had to be pink to start off with, didn't it? So I've got some of our non-shed glitter card, which I love working with. Useful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out, I'm not going to use the outline section at the minute. I'm going to use the filigree section and the butterfly, and I'm going to cut both of these together. So I just want to cut down a piece of my glitter card. When I'm working with the machines, I nearly always cut my cardstock down to the size that I'm working with on the die. So we'll pop that to one side. And then we need to bring our plates in. Now, just because it is glitter card, what I would recommend is try it first in your machines. If you're using a Gemini, it loves glitter card, no problem. If you have other machines out there, just try it first with your normal thin metal die cutting sandwich. If you find that it's not cutting through, some of the glitter cards have got like a coating on top. All you need to do is add your metal shim in there, just as sort of like an insurance policy to help it grip. So I'm going to pop the rest of my plates on there now. We'll go with the magnetic and the plastic shim and my top plate. Now I've actually used these on the junior plates there. I've got the big machine out, so I'm going to pop those through there. They will, all the dies in the collection will fit through the junior and probably through your midi as well. Some of the smaller elements you'll get through the mini, particularly the quilling flowers. If you're interested in those, they actually fit through the little mini. So some really nice things. Right, so this one's the actual outline. Let me just pop those to one side, and we'll just take this out and show you how that die cuts. If I bring this plate back, we can have a look at it. Now, if you want to cut them both together, you can. I've cut them separately just to show you how they work. And I'm going to put the butterfly back in and cut it out of the centre.
And that's have no problem whatsoever going through the glitter card.
Not at all.
Fantastic.
No. So let me just gently take that one out of there. And you can see that there's a cutting edge inside there. So we've got a solid butterfly there. And then if I just take these extra pieces out of here, we've got that lovely filigree element that encases the butterfly. So you can sort of work with different coloured layers, different textured layers. It's entirely up to you. It gives you a lot of scope to sort of put things together.
Also gives you a free stencil at that point as well,
it sure does.
It, if you want.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm going to show you a little trick in a second when I've just cut the second bit out. So this is what we've ended up with here. We've got that lovely filigree section, and then we've got the butterfly. So what I'm going to do is put the butterfly back through now. Now I could have done this all together, but just like I said, from a beginner's point of view, it's a bit scary sometimes putting both of these through together. So I'm going to put this back on, and I'm going to attach. You can see that that's the perfect size now. Just get rid of that sneaky bit that was hiding in there so that we get a nice cut. And then we want a little bit of tape on there, which I should have got in there, just to hold it in place, because this is actually the right shape. So I'm just going to line it up with a little border all the way around the edge, and then stick that down to my plate so I know it doesn't move. And then we'll bring those other series of plates back in. Whoops. Preferably not with the extra cutting edge, and then I'm going to pop that through again, and we're going to get all that lovely detail on the butterfly. Now for my actual sample, I wanted to change the inside part to some design paper, and I'll explain what I mean in a second, but I wanted to show you this just to give you an idea of what it looks like. So we'll get the plates out of the way again. Let me put that one to one side. I don't think we need that one again for a second. And then again, just release that tape gently, and you get this bit, which I found fascinating. You end up with like a little frame. Okay.
Oh wow.
You might think, well, what's that bit going to do? What's that for? So I had to think about it, and I've made something with that bit just to show you an idea of what you could do with it. So again, just tease them out of the die gently, pop all those extra pieces out, and you can see how beautifully that's cut, that glitter card.
And there is a lot of detail in there, Jan, as well, isn't it? That's the great thing about Sharon. Is the word
filigree sprang to mind, Derek, because there's such a lot of detail, and even down to the fact that you've got those little wings that are freed in the die.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Because there are a lot of butterfly dies out there, so you do always need to stand out from the crowd, don't you?
Yeah, and I just think, you know, sort of like different ways of using them as well comes in with them. So that's what we're getting from there. So ideally, when I bring this one back in, you've got the frame there, and you've got the butterfly that sits inside it with just that little bit of board around it. Now I actually wanted to cut mine out of some design paper, so what I've done is I've cut it twice, one out of the lighter coloured layer, and then I cut this second layer again just so that it's a wee bit darker on those wings that lift up. So this is what I'm going to use on my design, just to give a bit of contrast between the background and the butterfly itself. This one will come in for another project, and then this little bit here, I'm thinking, well, I don't want to, technically this is waste, but I thought, no, I don't want to waste that. So what I did is got out some vellum, stamped it with just a text stamp, anything. It could be flowers, it could be anything that you want. And then I've stuck this to the vellum and actually made myself another embellishment there.
Oh, wow.
Which has just got those lovely sort of see-through wings going on with the vellum. So again, don't throw this bit away. It is useful. So we pop those back to one side, get rid of that, and then I'll bring in what I've done to make the project. So again, starting out, if you're a beginner crafter, let's just get rid of some of the mess here. We always talk about matting and layering. So all I've done here, what I mean by a mat and layer is literally I've cut out a coloured mat, which is the first one, and I've layered it with some paper. And this is actually from the Rose Garden paper pad. So because I'm working with cardstock, I'm going to flick to my collal glue. And I think, have we got the glue bundle on the show, Derek?
We have today.
Yes, I thought we had.
We have.
Which is a good staple.
It's a bundle of the all-purpose, the tacky, the 3D glue gel, and a dotty tape pen together. Oh no, they're in as individuals. Sorry, they are as individuals. I think we've got a bundle. We've got an adhesive bundle on Second Chance Sunday.
Ah, that might be where I've seen it.
Prepping 2 shows, that one is. So join myself and Debbie later, or you can shop ahead right now if you want to on Second Chance Sunday. And there's a rather nice little adhesive collection this afternoon, but you can buy individually. So if you're just topping up your all-purpose or your tacky or dotty tape pens, because they're brilliant for those detailed dies, aren't they? They
sure
make life
are.
so much easier, don't they?
Yeah, it's amazing how the dots just go on the cardstock and not anywhere else. How they know not to stick to the gaps is beyond me. It's very, very clever stuff.
It is very clever.
Yes, it's been well thought out there.
Yeah.
So that's just my mat and layer then onto an 8-inch card blank there. That's a shop bought card, which is just slightly less. The envelopes are normally 8x8. So that's the basis of my card. And then what I did at home is I've cut out that same configuration and I've just run it through that there sticky machine that we're always talking about. So through the Xyron, but like Derek's just said, the dotty tape pen would be perfect for adhering this as well. So again, just to cover the back of it if you've got those to hand. If not, you can use your tacky glue, something like that. And then if any of you were watching last week, you saw me with the nesting dies. We did a masterclass with the nesting dies. And I did say to you that they come out a lot of the time when I'm crafting. So just using that fancy stitched square that we had on last week, I've cut a couple of layers, the same colour as the background, the same design paper there, just as a feature. And then what I want to do before we put that together is have a look at the sentiments. So we've also got 2 sentiments in this collection. This one is thinking of you, and then in the next demo I'm going to use the sending love one. And again, you've got 2 pieces here. So you've got the background one that makes the mat, and then you've got your actual text. So what I'm going to do is cut out both of them from a piece of white cardstock. Okay, so this is just plain stamping card, whatever you've got lying around there. And we're going to put those onto our plates again. We should be safe enough, or shall I'll tape them down just in case. It's not worth the risk, because if it slides, you've ended up ruining it. So
isn't it funny, Jan, as well? I think, you know, thinking of you was always a reflective sentiment, wasn't it? It was probably quite a more somber sentiment. But I think in 2020, thinking of you says things.
It's just everything, isn't it?
Yes, it does, because sometimes you just want to write to someone just to say, you know what, let's just have some contact. I've missed you. I haven't been able to see you. So thinking of you is a great sentiment for that as well.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's no longer just kind of more of a singular kind of purpose, a more of a sympathy sentiment. It's more universal now, isn't it?
It is. It's very sort of becoming more of a generic one, isn't it? That you, like you said, it's a great one. It's been such a tough year for a lot of people. I think, you know, to have the option to do that. And I'm still a writer, Derek. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's all this social media, but I like nothing better to put pen to paper and actually write to someone. I keep a diary. I've been very much sort of on this throughout my lifestyle. So here we go. We've got the little mat and we've got the thinking of you. Now, what I did with mine at home is using my Harmony ink pads. I've got the Plum Jam, and this is actually the pigment ink one. And what I did was take this to my sentiment and literally ink it up so that I'd got some colour on it, and then I've embossed it with some clear embossing powder. So you can see it's gone from the plain white to something that now matches my project. And when we actually sit this on here now, you can see we've got that lovely little mat for it to sit on. So it creates that sort of visual point for your sentiment. So again, I've just added a bit of that jam. I was going to say plum jam. It is plum jam, yeah, around the edges, just so that we've brought the colour tone in. So again, I'll keep those 2. And then I think we're about ready to pop this together. So my thinking behind this, let's just bring the card back in, was that we were going to use the outline of the butterfly. And I'm going to use now, I just need to be very careful getting this one off here, because it's been run through the Xyron and then it's been through my Gemini just to take away those sticky bits. So let's just peel it off gently, and I'm going to just sort of hide this behind that set of nesting dies.
Oh, that's
just
clever.
Want to take it off carefully. As I say, there's lots of little filigree pieces and I don't want to tear it. So just be gentle. I tend to be very impatient with things like this, but I do need to just take my time and just peel it off there until we've got every little bit. There we go, look. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it on my pokey tool there, because I want to actually position it just behind where this is going to sit. So I'm going to go sort of across the card like so. So we've got the decoration in the background there. And then we're going to pop the nesting set here. Now what I've done is I've just cut, a bit of the scrap left, I've just cut part of the die rather than putting it through again in it total. I just wanted a little bit of it to act as extra decoration. So on this one, I'm going to trap this, and this is just about balancing your project. So because we've got something here, I'm now going to come down to this corner here just to sort of balance it out and put this one behind that nesting die.
That's such
so that
a clever
you've got a little
idea,
bit peeking out at the bottom.
Often you would then look for another die to sit in that corner, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so just by using them like that.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to grab some foam pads we've got there, just to pop on the back of here, and we'll raise this up on some pads. I think we've just got enough left there.
Has Craig left you some?
These are actually out of my bag, but yeah, I know he loves his foam pads, Craig.
He does.
I've been using them more and more. I must admit, I used to use foam tape. I used to buy it on a roll.
Yeah.
But since we've been doing the range of them here, it's
Yeah, it's just a lot easier to
It
grab
is
the
a lot
size you need,
easier,
isn't
yeah.
it?
You've got all sorts of different sizes there.
You'll find them on the website if we have them in stock at the moment. Oh, hello. Sorry, I didn't realise you could see me as well. Hello. I was busy staring at what Jan was doing there, probably looking like I was miles away
It's
there.
in the little window. It's like waving you through the window,
You're
isn't
such
it?
a good teacher, Jan. That I just get absorbed by what you're doing. There's so many people saying the same thing as well. Tall Chicky 8 says, just love listening to Jan. She's so calm and such a great teacher.
Oh, thank you.
Which
Do you
is
know, I love
lovely and
doing
I
it.
agree.
I absolutely love doing it.
You can tell. It's
All
amazing.
I've done on the back of there, purely because I'm sticking parts of it to where the glitter card is, I've just added a little bit of my tacky glue to the back of the foam pads. They are sticky enough to work paper to paper, but obviously with the glitter, it just gives you a little bit of extra, again, that insurance. You don't want something falling off your card. So that's going to go over the top there. And then we've got, I've got more foam pads. Look, I've actually prepared this one ready. So again, we're going to put that plate on for the background for the thinking of you. So that's going to go inside there. And then again, I'm just going to go back. If you've got your dotty tape pen will work. You can use the tacky glue. Again, it could be run through the Xyron. Now, what I've done with this, and you'll have heard me say this before, is I've run it through 2 or 3 times. And I've actually stuck them together previously to make more of like a chipboard sentiment. So it's got a little bit of texture rather than just being flat. So again, we're going to lay that over the top, and all the thinking's been done. This lines up perfectly on that mat, just to give you a little border around it. So that's that bit. And then the butterfly that I made, I know that it's not actually in the gap because we've trapped some of the gap, but there's nothing to stop that one actually just sitting over the top and sitting back inside its original gap. So again, we've got a little bit of tape on the back of there. And all I've done is layer this up, decorate it with some gems, and I'm going to line it back up with that die cut there so that it looks as if it's in the right place, but we've just got it overlapping at the top, and then just give those wings a little bit of a curl. I've got a very friendly piece of red line tape there that doesn't want to let go. There we go. Okay. So I love that. That was everything that I'd planned for it.
Do you know what? That's so awesome, Jan. I mean, you couldn't add to perfection there, could you? I mean, that's absolutely stunning. All of the colours, all of the coordination there, using the die twice, 3 times, you know, I mean, they have so many different uses. Every element of those have so many different uses. I'm just going to ask my stateside producer, Erin.
Ooh.
Premium cards here in the UK, like the one that Jan just made, if that were wrapped up in some cellophane, we call it here, in a store, that card would probably be upwards of maybe £6 or £7 here in the UK. Jan, would you agree?
I would think so,
yeah. In a department store, you could pay 6, 7, maybe even more for a card like that. What would that equate to in dollars in the US? What would you say? Between $7 and $10. I mean, that's amazing. When you think of how many times over you could make a creation like that, using the very simple ideas and the great ideas and the imaginative ideas that Jan just used there, isn't it incredible? It blows your mind, doesn't it? How much versatility there is in just one die. And that was just Vanessa.
That's just one out of that collection, yeah. I mean, and like doing a different colour, it would look completely different. You know, there's no reason why it couldn't be for a guy. We tend to associate butterflies with the ladies out there, but you know, I've got some guy friends that would appreciate it, you know, do it in a few more masculine colours, it would look great. But the fact that you've got that die to repeat it, and again, if you were watching me last week with the envelope box creator, I'd be making a lovely gift box to put this in as well, and it makes it more of a gift just than handing somebody a card. And you could decorate the top of the box then to match, or you could emboss the back of the envelope, you know, sort of all sorts of ideas to go with it, and make it, as I say, like a gift rather than, oh, there's a card for you. It's more like a present or a gift, isn't it, when you do that? And they're the ones that have a longer life because they get kept and they get looked at. What we call the mantelpiece pleasers. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And again, it's real tangible things that we can touch and hold and remember the time, the place, the year, the person, whatever it is. It's amazing. And that's what crafting's all about, isn't it? It's about real meaning to it as well. Let's recap this set then that Vanessa came from. So the Vanessa die
and the Mariposa die are in there, plus the 2 sentiment dies as well. Sending Love and Thinking of You are in this bundle that you're seeing the details for right now, which I think is really, really good. At £30 or $41, you can see you're saving over 10% there, and you're getting triple points on everything you spend today, which is really, really amazing. I think today's the last day of that as well. I think, is that today? Today, yeah, it is. So take advantage of us celebrating our Club Inspire anniversary by just frittering away triple points on absolutely everything you spend. It's brilliant, isn't it? Let's have a look at the big collection then. Remember, that gets you all of those dies that you saw in that previous bundle, but it also gets you those 2 quilling dies as well, which are amazing, the Peony and the Climbing Rose. And you also get the Stampin' dies there, the Butterfly Love and the Butterfly Friendship there as well. All of that. So that's got an extra saving on top of the bundle savings as well, which I think is really, really good. If you want to go for the full collection, by the way, I know most of you are platinum. Platinum in the US, it's $67.20, and it's $49.60 here in the UK, which is really, really good. Now, talking of Club Inspire, just very, very quickly, we've got a celebration on Club Inspire, and it is Mary Pat 1000 on YouTube, who's a very regular contributor to the comments, I know. She went platinum yesterday, so she didn't think she'd do it by the end of the year, but triple points very much helped. Now, we're going down under now to see a picture of Sarah's Christmas tree in Melbourne, and the reason we're doing it now is because it's a butterfly tree, Jan. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
That's incredible.
What a fantastic way to decorate.
I know.
That is stunning, isn't it?
It's funny, isn't it? Because some years you think, oh, I don't want to just put the same decorations back on the tree. I want to do something different. And of course, I was just thinking, Jan, with those butterfly dies that you just had then, if you do that technique where you stamp out the butterfly, then you ink it, and then you clear emboss it, you can do those in any colours and then make tree decorations, couldn't you?
Preserves it, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely stunning idea.
I think it's absolutely brilliant. Keep your ideas and any other Christmas tree pictures you want to send in. If you've got butterflies on your Christmas tree that you've made, send them in. I'm happy to see them. Right, let's look at some paper pads. I did mention that we would have some paper pads, and it's our wonderful textured cardstock. And I know, Jan, you love your textured cardstock.
I wouldn't be without it.
It is amazing, because the one thing you can never see on camera truly is the texture, because it's like a mini kind of waffle texture, and it feels so grand. It feels so expensive. It feels just completely and utterly a cut above the rest. Now, this is your 8x8 neutral, so it's 36 sheets here. And look, because they're all beautiful and tonal, you've got lighter sort of toffee colours, and then you've got more of a sort of cappuccino kind of colour there going on, and then they graduate back into darker as well, slightly more into grey. I mean, grey is such a brilliant colour to use as a matte and layer. And can you see the shine to that? So it's not only the texture, and this is what, 230 GSM, and I have to tell you, it feels a lot more substantial than that. I have to tell you, it's really, really good. And you go to those really nice sort of charcoal colours there as well. This is a wonderful pad to have. You can get all of those different colours there for you. £14.99 or $19.95. We also have the pastels as well. And of course, now I think most of us are pretty much done with our Christmas making, apart from those last minute ones, aren't we? So we're now starting to think 2021, and we're all looking forward to 2021 because it has to be better than 2020, doesn't it? Look at all of these amazing colours. It's just got to be. It has to be. Look at that. Aren't they beautiful? Lovely light lilacs going into pinks there as well, which is beautiful. Nice blush pinks there. And again, all this amazing texture. Do you tend to use your textured cardstock for matting and layering? What's your main use for it, Jan, do you think?
Possibly. I do use it for matting and layering, but I would also use it for die cutting, particularly things like sentiments, because there's such a beautiful range of colours in there and shades.
Wonderful, aren't they?
You can pretty much match it to whatever you're working with.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you haven't got, like that card I've just made, if you hadn't got the ink pads and the embossing powder, you could have used one of those shades of pink and die cut it in pink to fit in with the rest of your design. You know, so there's quite a lot of use, and I get through these like nothing on earth.
Oh, I can imagine.
That 8x8 6x8 one is just a perfect size for working with, but then the bigger ones, you know, you've got sort of extra pieces then. You cut your main mat and layer, and then it allows you to coordinate and maybe cut your dies with it or cut your sentiments with it, and you know everything's going to colour coordinate properly then. Rather than scrabbling through your scrap box and have I got a bit that matches, what can I make it match, or it's not quite the right shade, you know that it's all going to work together then. It just takes the hard work out of it.
Oh, you're so right, Jan. And once you start chopping, there ain't no stopping. It's true, isn't it? Just going back to that card that you made before, have you still got it to hand, Jan, there? Actually, Susan and Christine have both said that actually our guesstimate on dollar price would be a little bit low, actually. Susan said that card would easily go for $10 here in CA. Is that California? Yeah.
Wow.
And Christine said that's way better than $7, at least 10 to 15 for sure. And Christine's in upstate New York.
Oh.
So there you go. Oh, I need to get to upstate New York and go and do some shopping. That'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? I mean, you won't be buying cards, you'd just be taking pictures of them, wouldn't you? And coming back with the inspiration. Right, let's go into Sarah Signature now. Rose Garden, it's an amazing collection. It's very, very serene. Of course, being a Sarah Signature set, you know this is going to be amazing. And it's full 12 by 12s here. Look at those colours. Look at those wonderful, wonderful images there as well. And you've got so many different textures going on here. Think about Rose Garden collection. Think about your other Sarah Signature collections as well. Think about how amazingly this would go with Rose Gold, let alone Rose Garden. Look at all of those big, beautiful butterflies going on in this 12 by 12. This has got to be a bit of a must-have. And I know Christine Mahoney is watching, and I know she's going to have probably half a dozen of these already in her stash. But if you want to add some more, you've got your chance right now at £12.99 here in the UK or $19.95 in the US. It is incredible. Now, stamping card. Now, that doesn't often take center stage, but I want to show you because we've got a nice little deal. I mean, that's not exciting to look at, is it necessarily?
It's exciting to use though, Derek.
It is.
I'm going to do a trick with this in the next demo, so that's perfect.
It is very, very exciting. And your stamping card there is on a bit of a multi-buy as well. So it is $9.99 a pack for 60, but there's a multi-buy on that one where you can get 4 for £30 or $42. And you'll find that deal if you shop the show on the website. So you can buy it individually, but if you want to stock up as well, because 60 sheets, you think that's going to go a long way, and then you realise that you get started and you start creating with it, and you'll go through it like there's no tomorrow. So go for that multi-buy at the bottom of the screen there, any 4 for £30 or $42, because it's one thing that you'll stock up now on a good multi-buy for, and you'll just have it when you need it, Jan.
That's what I was just thinking. To me, that's a no-brainer because that's one of my go-to cardstocks. I use it for stamping. I'm going to use it for die cutting in the next demo. It's strong enough to make your card blanks out of, and it's something that's never going to, it's not going to go off. It's not like buying something that's got a shelf life, especially if you're trying to get your points to your next band by the end of the year for Club Inspire. Something like that would be a brilliant purchase because you can just pop the packs to one side, use your first one, and then you know that you've got the stash there ready for you when you need it. And as I say, it's a way of building those points. I know some of you are very close to your next band. Make sure you get them in before Christmas so that you can roll over that band into the new year then and experience the benefits of having that discount next year. So triple points on it. I would definitely be going for stuff like that. That's actually sort of my go-to products. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. It's one of those kind of staples you just need by your side. It's
like buying jars of coffee, isn't it? Keeping them in the cupboard when they're on offer.
Absolutely, and you just stack up, and then you know you've got them. Yeah. Because they're the boring things to buy as well. They're not exciting things to buy.
They're not, but when they're on an offer like that, and as I say, with the triple points, to me, that's a no-brainer.
Definitely.
They would definitely be in my basket.
Definitely. Go for that quickly while you can. Let's go back to the metal dies, excuse me, from Sharon Callis. This is Butterflies and Blooms. You're absolutely loving these collections. And we haven't got to the quilling yet, which I know you're absolutely loving.
That was demo 3.
Yeah, we can't wait till we get to that,
Teasing
Jan.
you, making you wait, you see.
I know. So we've done Vanessa, haven't we?
We have, yes.
So this
is the second set of metal dies now. So we've got Mariposa this time.
Okay.
And I'm going to double that up with the Sending Love sentiment. So you'll have seen that metal die collection that's in a smaller bundle. If you just wanted to buy the metal work, that's those 4 items. The 2 from the first demo, and then these two that I'm going to use in the second demo. So I thought if I did those first, then you can see what you're getting for your money in that demo. So in the Mariposa set, it's very similar to the one that I showed you originally. It's got the 3 pieces in again, and we've got that lovely outline. And I'm going to ask you a question during this demo, so I'd love your feedback as to whether to include the mat or not. So when we get there and I say, do we want it in or do we not? Give me an answer, yeah. Because I couldn't make my mind up whether I wanted it in or not. Then you've got that gorgeous filigree work again, but this one's more of a portrait design, whereas the one we used last time was more landscape. So you've got both. And then you've got a different style of butterfly, and it works just the same. So I'll cut them all together this time to show you what I mean about doing it together. But just like I did last time, if you're not confident working with the dies together, then cut them separately and do it just like I did last time. So let's move that packaging out the way. And then we're also going to bring in that Sending Love, which is made up just the same. You've got the little mat and layer, and then you've got that beautiful little sentiment. So out of my stamping card, I'm just going to cut the butterfly and the sentiment. And then I was looking at alternative ways of adding colour, which is why I've just gone for the white stamping card, because I want to add some colour to it. And again, sort of thinking about that masterclass and teaching you different ways of using things. This was sort of a way of, you know, adding some colour, and you can do this in so many different ways. So let me just line these up carefully and then stick them down because I don't want them to move. And then I need a second piece.
Jan, just quickly while you're doing that and positioning it, when it comes to stamping card, because I mean stamping card sounds very narrow and very specific, doesn't it? Just for stamping.
Yeah.
What else generally do you use it for?
I think, you know, it's sort of, don't be deceived when it says stamping card. It is excellent for stamping on. It's excellent for doing your background work, you know, when we use the inks and we're spritzing it with water and things like that, it works. But like I said, it's strong enough to, I make my card blanks out of this. So if you like making your own card blanks, depending on what size you're working with, this is strong enough. 300 GSM is more than strong enough to actually make the base of your card with. And then also, like I said, the die cutting aspect of it, when you've got white, obviously you can use it as white, but then that allows you to add colour. And if you're going to start working with inks and things like that, or anything that's wet, your aqua markers, I'm actually going to use sparkle pens on this one. You want a cardstock that's going to stand up to the test. If you've only got a thin weight and it gets wet, it starts and you get all those bits come off the surface, it gets really floppy, and then you think, well, at the end of the day, it's not going to look nice on a design. So having something that's a good weight, that's been tested, and I think that's the beauty of our products, it's been tested to make sure that it does literally what it says on the tin. So don't be put off by the stamping element, because that's only one of the things that you can do with it. So let's move those off to one side and just take the tape out, and you can see the difference between the butterfly and the main die has given me that gorgeous little frame again. So just like we did with that first one, pops, it could just be a piece of, you know, a piece of the paper behind it, and actually cut it out. You know, pick out an element. You could have your sentiment stamped inside there and actually have a stamped sentiment inside the butterfly. So many different things we can do. So I'm going to keep, I have a little bag that I put all these bits and pieces in. So let's just take these off. We've got them taped down, so take the tape away. And then I thought about this. I thought, right, chose some paper. So my thinking process with this is usually work out what I'm going to mat and layer with, and then tie in the other elements to the colour scheme. So once I decided what I was going to use for matting and layering, which again was paper from those textured card packs and some design paper from the Rose Garden pad, I then thought, right, how shall we add colour to this to make it match? And that's when my sparkle pens came out of the drawer. So let's just pop that on the back of here so that you can see this. So that's that beautiful frame. Again, they're just absolutely gorgeous. And I love the fact that you've got these little flower elements in here. And you'll notice on most of the ones I've done, I've added either a little gem or a pearl just to the centre of those to add extra decoration. And then we've got that lovely butterfly, which is a different shape to the first one, but it's on the same idea. Just tease it out gently. We've got one or two bits that just need to pop through there, and it's got those lovely little raised wings on it again. I'm just going to take those last few bits out there. We'll clean the dies out later. And that fits beautifully inside there, and you've got that element here. And I just think, you know, they literally are exquisite. They're such a pretty sort of kit to work with. Really enjoyed it. And then we've got that lovely little sentiment there that says sending love. And again, a really useful one. I'm just going to gently tease that out because these are very fine fonts in here. So just be gentle when you're teasing them out. But again, this is testament to that stamping card, you know, that it will die cut and it does come out of there without actually tearing. So, you know, just you can see that building up there already. So let's just get rid of the bits. And then I've gone for a slightly different card blank in this one. I've gone to my craft card, which you all know is one of my favourites. But what I've done is, this was my original card here. And I've just chopped the bottom off with a gap in between. And what I want to do, I think we've got the acetate on the show as well. So I'm going to put an acetate panel in here to make my card blank have like a see-through element in it. So let's just pop that, if it's not on the show today, it should be on the website. We've usually got this available on the website. So just take the tape off.
Is this the construction or the heavyweight one?
It's the heavyweight acetate, yeah. So what I'm going to do, it's not easy to see on camera, so let's put it on here. I'm just going to attach this bit onto the bottom and line up the edges there. And then this is going to fill the gap. So what we do now is line the base up here. So make sure that everything's lined up at the bottom and then stick this part down. So I've actually created there my own card blank with that see-through element in there behind it. So because we can see through it, I've done some matting and layering to go in the back. So again, beautiful paper front. That rose garden pad is amazing. It's got almost like a watercolour theme, I think, to it, as if somebody's been out with the watercolour paints and done it.
It's really sweet, isn't it?
And then the green is from that, I think it's the summer tones the green is in for the textured cardstock. So this one's going to go in the back of my card here. So again, we'll bring in the collal. Whenever I'm working cardstock to cardstock, collal's usually my glue of choice, because once it's set, it adds some stability to your card as well. It sets like a layer of cement. And it does actually add a little bit of stability to your card. So if you get, I know sometimes when I've made card blanks with sort of a less weight card, they don't always stand up very well. But by adding your mats and layers in, it's creating sort of thickness to them so that it gives them a little bit of something to work with.
And if they're not strong enough, you put in an awful lot of effort, I guess, in making a card.
Yeah.
I've been here myself.
The last thing you want is to put it down and then like this at the bottom.
If it won't stand up for you, then you won't give it to the person, will you? You'll make it all over again. So you've kind of wasted a bit of your time there as well, haven't you? Right,
and then I've cut 2 strips. So we're going to go one at the bottom. And when I'm matting and layering, I normally go 1/4 inch for each different layer, generally, as a rule of thumb. So in this instance, the pattern paper is 1/4 inch smaller than the green layer, and the green layer is 1/4 inch smaller than the card blank. Now, there are some instas, which I might have one later on, where I vary the mats and layers, again, just to give a different look, you know. So there's no rule of thumb that says it has to be 1/4 inch. If you work in centimetres, I normally leave 1/2 centimetre. But again, you know, that is open to interpretation. So we're just going to decorate the card blank, and then I'm going to add. So what I was looking at, I thought, right, I don't want too much green. So I've picked this sort of peachy pinky tone out, went through my vast box of sparkle pens and found a couple that perfectly match. You know, it's almost as if it's been thought about. So I've actually got pink champagne and rose quartz for any of you out there that like using your sparkle pens, and they were a perfect match for what was going on here. So we'll pop that to one side to dry. And what I wanted to do, I'm just going to grab a piece of blank card just to work on the back there. That die cut that we cut out, literally, if you take your sparkle pens to them, you could do this with inks just the same, but I just wanted that lovely sparkle. And again, just by adding this to your die cut, which is why I worked with the white card in the first place, you can totally transform it. So I'm not going to colour all of this. I actually did this at home so that you didn't have to sit and watch me colour the whole thing.
Oh, I don't know. We could easily watch you colour for hours, Jan, I think.
You know, so literally I've just laid the brush flat, so it's actually catching it at the side rather than going in and doing it this way. It would take a bit longer. A bit more surface area just by laying that brush down. And again, just adding colour to it. And then the second one I used as almost like a, you know, like when we use our alcohol pens, we use degrees of a shade.
Yeah.
The pink, this one was a little bit more pink, so I've just brought it into areas and it's just added a bit more depth of colour to some of it, depending on where you want it. And then if I bring in the finished piece that I'd done, you can see here, I've done it twice. I let it dry and then I've added a second layer, so it's taken it a wee bit deeper. And again, like I was talking about, just on those flowers, I've added some little pearl accents on there to make my design. And then I've also done the same with the butterfly. So we cut out that lovely butterfly in the white card, and again, I've added that colour to it, and you can see that. Can you see the sparkle catching the camera there? Just with the glitter on it there. So again, that fits beautifully in here. And then I also did it, we cut the sentiment out in the white. And again, I've cut 2 or 3 of them, stuck them together to make it a bit more rigid and done that. So they all match now, my colour scheme. So let's pop those white ones to one side. Now
Jan,
this is where...
I just had a quick question earlier from Linda on Facebook asking what size your Xyron is.
For this one, I'm just thinking whether it would fit through the... I've got the... I'm trying to work out which one it is. It's not 9-inch. It's the middle of the road one. It's not the big one, it's the one down from it. And then I also use the 3-inch one. And then I usually carry in my bag the little 1.5-inch one. But I think it'll probably go through the 6 looking at that. We've got, yeah, it's less than 6 inches from top to bottom, that die. So I think that's what the width of this cartridge is here, is the 6. Cool. Yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
But again, if you haven't got those, don't be put off. As I say, these will work perfectly on the back of the dies. Even when you've embellished them like this, you can still get those dots on the back of it. So don't be put off by the fact, you know, that you need a Xyron. So this is where you guys came in. My thinking with this one is that we're going to lay the design. I'm just going to use the die because this one's sticky. We're going to lay the design on here. I've cut my little mat for the sentiment out of the green, which is going to lay here. And then we're going to insert the butterfly into there. Now, my question for you guys was, do we want the mat behind it before we add the peach detail? Or do we just want the decorative detail? And I couldn't make my mind up. Looking at it now, I quite like the mat with it. And bearing in mind that we didn't use the mat on the first one, I'm just thinking, I don't know, what do you think, Derek?
Do you know, I'm as on the fence as you, and I tell you what it is, it's that paper.
Yeah,
it's that paper.
You don't really want to cover it all up.
That's the thing, isn't it, with that, is you just want to enjoy and just kind of like diving into this wonderful stately home, which is that paper in the background. You kind of wonder whether you want to mask that.
Yeah.
But it is a nice subtle shade as well. So I'm sorry, I'm no use either.
I know. I really couldn't make my mind up. As I say,
Over to you guys.
I'm leaning towards using it purely because we didn't use it on the first one. Now again, my die cut looks as if it's sort of had a little bit of stress, either just going through the Xyron or travelling up here because it's come in pieces. But when we put it back on here, if we don't tell anybody, nobody would know.
We would never have known.
You would never have known that it's been separated. Look, there we go. So that's the bit that's going to go on here, like so.
You know, we mentioned those paper pads, Jan, earlier, just very, very quickly, because I know you'd want to know about Christine and her paper pad
Oh, of course.
thing. She's given me an update. She's done a stock check in her store. That is where she does all her crafting. She's got 9 of the large and 8 of the small rose garden pads.
Wow, my goodness. Now that is total devotion to paper, isn't it? Yeah, I thought I had a lot there, Christine. So what do we think, guys? Are we going with the mat and then the decoration?
Well, there's a lot of people saying yes, loving the base. I think a lot of people are erring towards Yes.
Yes, I think so, because as I say, we didn't use it on the last one, so it gives people an idea of what it looks like with the base behind it. So again, this has been through my Xyron, so just nice and gentle when we're lifting it off there. And again, just a little top tip if you haven't seen it before. Anybody that uses the Xyron will know that sometimes you get all those little sticky bits. What I do with mine is I run it through my Gemini. So while it's still got the plastic coating on the top of it and it's been through the Xyron, run it through your Gemini with the embossing selection. So clear plate, pop this down with the embossing mat on it, plastic shim clear plate, run it through your Gemini, and it takes, there's no sticky bits inside here at all. It's a clever technique that we came up with, and the pressure from the Gemini just gets rid of all those little stringy bits.
Jan, while you're handing out the advice, I wonder if you could help us. Kimberly's asked a general question, but I think a lot of people will want to know the answer as well. When you're creating your mats and layers, and I think we've all been here, how do you manage to cut them without making, you know, we call it here a dog's breakfast, a mess? Do you know what I mean? When you're actually cutting, you know, how do you do it? What's your secret?
I think the secret is having a good cutting tool.
Okay.
There are lots out there, lots and lots, you know, whether you prefer a guillotine, whether you prefer what I call a paper trimmer that's got a runner blade in it. But of course, obviously working here, you know, our product development team with our Leanne, bless her, has gone to the end lengths to work out what we needed in order to do this. And this one particularly, it's got 1/4 inch increments on the grid. So when you're lining up cardstock, I know there's a little tiny piece of cardstock, let me find a bigger piece.
So
when you're lining
get
it
all
up
your
here,
secrets while you're here, Jan.
That's what it's all about, Derek.
Yeah.
This is what the masterclass is for. Please don't be I always say there's no such thing as a silly question, because, you know, you might be sat there thinking about it and thinking about it. This is the best time to ask us, because if we can share that information, that's what I'm here for, and that's what the rest of the team are here for. We all bring different skills to the table, you know, so it might be that some people have got a bit more knowledge about certain aspects of the crafting than others, but go for it. And if we can answer it live on air for you, job done. If not, you can always contact us through our social media. You'll find all of us on Facebook, you'll find all of us on Instagram. Don't ever be afraid to just pop a message down with a question and we'll try and answer it for you, no problem. So on this one, you've got those lines. So each one is worth 1/4 inch. So for example, if I line this up at 5 inches here at the top, use my finger guard and cut it, yep, I can literally then cut a 1/4 inch strip off there. So if I move it along to the next 1/4 inch guide, make sure it's all nice and straight, and then literally cut this one. If I just bring this through for you now, this is the confidence in having the right equipment. If we can get in on this closely, turn this over so that we can work against here. If you look at that one end to the other there,
wow, yeah.
It is perfect. Absolutely perfect. You've got a 1/4 inch all the way along it there.
Jan, can I just ask you about guillotine technique then in that case? Because I noticed that you went a little bit slower then. Being a boy, and I've got a small guillotine, but don't tell everyone. But I actually tend to go for a quick chop, and you went quite slowly there, and you got a really neat result.
Again, making sure that the cardstock doesn't move, you know. So we put the finger guard there so that you can obviously protect your fingers, because this blade is of kitchen blade quality. It is absolutely spectacular. You know, people, it's easy to say, oh, well, you work for the company, you're going to say it's the best one. I've used a lot of cutting machines in the past, and I personally prefer a guillotine. I know some people prefer the paper trimmers. Either or, I would suggest trying them both, see which works for you best. But the guillotine has got that self-sharpening. So every time you cut, you've got metal to metal. You don't ever have to worry about that blade running out. And I could just sit and crunch every day. Lovely. It's gorgeous. But yeah,
Jan,
nice and steady, particularly if you're working, you know, with your best cardstock. You don't want to cut it and it end up being skewy and having to throw it away and what have you. So again, just line it up. Top tip would be making sure that it works either up to the top. I know some people prefer to work at the base. You've got the dimensions at the bottom just the same. So if you prefer to work down here, just make sure that you're using this line and the grid lines, or the top line and the grid lines, to make sure that it's all sort of nice and neat. and then you can cut to whatever width you need for your projects. And again, we've just got, look, I know every time I know that I've got that perfect cut on it, it meets beautifully. And that takes all the worry out of, you know, wondering whether everything's going to be straight when you've cut it or not. Because there's nothing worse than when you're trying to layer things up and you've got one edge sort of wider than the other.
Jan, I'm so sorry, but while we're in advice corner,
That's
I've learned two things there. First of all, I need a bigger one.
You need a bigger one.
And secondly, I need to slow down. So there's life lessons for me straight away.
Yeah.
And third, I've got a confession, Jan. Because Kimberly was actually asking how to gut cardstock as opposed to cut cardstock.
Oh, right.
Now, so apologies, Kimberly.
Yep.
And I've never heard that term, Jan. First, what does it actually mean? Now
then, this is a crafty not crafty in the paper craft sense, crafty as in crafty technique, Derek.
Okay.
So for example, again, if I was going to cut, let me show you a matten layer again out of here. We've gone down to quite a narrow piece now, but let me just make this square, for example. I've got 4 inches there. And I'll turn it into 4 inches here.
Okay.
So if this was going to be a matten layer for something I was working with, and I was going to put another piece over the top of it, all right, I've got bits of glitter card everywhere now. So for example, say we were going to put another piece over the top, a square piece. Nobody's going to see what's underneath here. So for example, I could cut my sentiment out of the centre of there and then put my layer over the top. Nobody would be any the wiser that there was a bit missing under there if I didn't turn around and say, look, it's got a hole in the back.
Right.
Which is fondly known as gutting the card. You're taking the middle out of it, basically, the insides out of it. Yeah? Or some people tend to call it being frugal. Some people don't like the term gutting. But yeah, ways to do that.
Sounds like fish, doesn't it?
Ways to do that. For example, if I'm using sort of what I call my best cardstock, which is something like the glitter card. I know this is only a small piece, but if I was making a little card and I wanted to use this as a layer, the initial thought there would be to use one of my nesting dies. So if you've got the square, the original shapes of the nesting dies, choose one that leaves you about 3/4 of an inch border, because like I said to you, when I'm layering, I tend to leave 1/4 of an inch showing. So if you come in about 3/4 of an inch and die cut the middle out of there, you can then use that piece for something else. And when you've put your matten layer over here, nobody's going to know that that inside bit's missing.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. If you haven't got nesting dies, 2 ways of doing it. Now, I haven't actually got a paper trimmer here, but some of the paper trimmers allow you to put the blade down in a certain place rather than coming top to bottom. So if you imagine this was in your paper trimmer and you got hold of the blade and you actually started cutting here, you can just drag it down so far and stop again and lift it, and it cuts you a line, and again turn to take it out. If not, then you go to your craft knife, and I've not actually got it here at the minute, but a metal edge ruler. And again, sometimes I don't even use a ruler. I would pop this on and I would literally, because I don't necessarily need a square out of it, I just want the space. I would literally just do this.
So as long as your 1/4 edge is showing around the edge, you can take away what you want.
Because as soon as I put that on here again now, nobody is going to know that there's a gap. And it's not thick enough to leave any kind of indentation. You think, oh, well, there's going to be a dip in the middle. Not particularly. Doesn't, especially when you're building it up with all the different layers on.
Jan,
lots
you're a
of different
genius.
ways to do it.
I'm so sorry, I've interrupted. I have no idea where you were
That's
before
all right.
I started
As I say,
interrupting.
that's what we're here for.
But I tell you what, isn't that brilliant? I hope you're all making notes, because today, talk about masterclass, it's like a mega masterclass. That's brilliant. Now, where were we?
Where were we? We've just got to finish this off, I think. So all I'm going to do is stick, because I'm going onto the acetate, I'm just going to pop a little bit of red line tape behind here if it's evading me again. Do you know, tapes are brilliant stuff until you come live on air. And then they all start being mischievous and they don't like to give away their liner, or they don't like to come off. It's, I think they conspire against us. There we go, look. So this bit's going to go across here like so. And then this bit, again, I'm just going to use this on here, and I'll show you a little. I haven't done it on this one, but I'll give you another little tip for covering the back of it, because some people might say, well, that looks great, but when you turn it over, you're going to see the workings, because I've got that acetate in there, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. So we're going to put that one on here like so. I quite like it on the mat, actually.
Oh, yeah. You know, now you've laid it down.
It looks all right, doesn't it?
It's just when it was on its own, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That we were a bit unsure.
And then
weren't we?
again, you've got those lovely wings that you can curl up. I would use something round to curl those. Now that looks great. Looks fine like this. Yeah?
It does.
But then some people might say, right, well, when you look inside, Jan, you can see all the bits and pieces and the tape. So because this is a die and you've got exactly the same shape, cut it again out of the same colour, the cream cardstock, and then actually stick that one. You'd need to turn it over, but stick it on the back so that you've got that piece inside.
Yeah.
And I would do exactly the same with this one and cut that in the green and stick them on the reverse so that you don't see all those bits of tape and workings inside.
That's such a good idea. Not everyone would maybe think of that as well as just a finishing touch, but you know what? It just allows you to kind of look at it and stand back and go, I'm proud of that card. I'm ready to send it. Fantastic. Jan, thank you. And thank you, and thank you, and thank you,
That's
and thank
okay.
you, and
As I
thank
say,
you.
that's what we're here for. If we can answer them, we will.
That's amazing. I feel like we've got like 101 new tips just out of that last 10 minutes. It's amazing.
There you go.
Right, let's take you back to the, oh no, actually, let's look at adhesives. Now we've got different ways and different things to do. First of all, it's got to be a bit of a must-have, bit of an essential in your stash now, is a dotty tape pen. You may never heard of a dotty tape pen before. Usually our tape runners are like a straight line, aren't they? But this actually gives you little glue dots. So if you want to glue on the back of a really fine die cut, then this is the one you need. And I tell you what, buy these in multiples because, and I'm not saying that for any loaded reason, I promise you I'm not on commission here, but nor is Jan. We all just love our craft. But these are really, really good, but you will use and use and use and use them and you never want to be without them. It's a bit like that stamping card we were talking about before. So get a couple of those in at the same time. £4.99 or $6.95. Remember, it's triple points on absolutely everything. So you may as well stash up the cupboard, as we say here in the UK. Next, we have the all-purpose, and I love, this is generally my go-to, I have to say, if I'm ever unsure as to, without having to go back to a glue school and have a little look through, I always go, right, okay, this is the one. And what you'll need to buy as well is some of the fine tip applicators. You'll find those on the website as well, because you will love, actually an alternative to the dotty tape pen is actually drawing around with a fine tip applicator, a fine die cut on the back, because it's great fun as well. £2.99, $7.95. Fantastic. We've also got the tacky glue as well. Now the tacky glue, again, is amazing. It gets used an awful lot, depending on which surfaces you're actually sticking together. For the tacky glue, £4.99, $6.49. And then we have, and she'll be here later, Mrs. Chunky Glue herself, we have the Kalal 3D glue gel, which is brilliant, absolutely superb. And this is the set that comes with the tools as well. So it comes with a fine tip applicator. It comes with the key for dispensing the glue and filling up your, what do we call one of those? I've forgotten completely. Do you know, I use one every day because the dog needs medicine at the moment. Syringe. Thank you, Jan.
Syringe.
Such a simple word that has escaped me there. So it comes with the syringe. Debbie's shown you 1,000 times as well how easy it is to fill up your syringe with your 3D glue gel as well. And that just adds dimension. It's glue that sets beautifully. It's absolutely amazing glue. I think it's brilliant. I go through tubes and tubes of that. Just if you want to lift something up and it leaves like a clear finish, it's brilliant. £5.49 or $9.95 for your 3D glue gel. Right, let's go back to Sharon Callis and her amazing Butterfly and Blooms collection. And we are looking at the main collection here, aren't we? And this is amazing. So many of you have been making your mind up during the show, and we haven't even got to what I consider to be the main event in this show, which is a flower quilling demonstration, which I think we are doing next, actually. So we've seen lots and lots of butterflies. We've had 1,001 tips from this show as well. So I think you've got even more confidence now to go for the entire collection. I think sometimes you look at one element of a collection, don't you? Even with us here at Crafters TV, you look at one element of a collection, you say, I love that and I know that I'll use it because I can. You feel confident. after seeing those 2 demonstrations from Jan so far, you know you are going to be confident using the whole of it because of all of the ideas that we've got there. Now remember, this is a big saving, £62 or $84. And if you're platinum, $67.20 is your price, or £49.60 here in the UK. And it's triple points on absolutely everything. Plus, you will also get any spend of over 40 today will get you one of our beautiful little stocking decorations, our 2020 Crafters Companion Christmas tree decoration, which is amazing. And all the profits from that, even though we're including it for free, all the profits from that are going to the Bradley Lowry Foundation, which of course is raising money and awareness and providing help for lots and lots of families with children with child cancers, neuroblasts, I mean lots and lots of rare conditions that aren't necessarily spoken for by our health authorities here in the UK as well. So it's doing amazing work in terms of research as well. So I think it's a lovely thing for a company like Crafters Companion to do as well, to give back, which is superb. Right. Talking about back, let's go back to the Sharon Callis collection. We've gone butterfly crazy so far, so now it's time for a bit of flower action, Jan, and it's so simple, isn't it?
We're going to do a bit of both, actually. I want to show you the stamp sets now. So we've done a lot of work with the metal, but also in the collection you get stamp and die sets. So there are 2 of these. So my first demonstration uses the butterfly friendship, and the 2 designs that you see on the front here, you get those as stamps. So if I bring them here to show you what I mean, you actually get an acrylic stamp set, which has got more than that on it, of course. You know, we're going to fill the space. So you've got those 2 beautiful but this one I think has got a bit of a steampunk sort of look to it.
Yeah, it has a
I
little
can
bit.
imagine that done in, you know, sort of like a more neutral tone, and then embossing it with embossing powder and maybe adding little cogs to it rather than flowers or something like that. Something, maybe a key in the middle for the centre. I was sort of getting a bit steampunky with that one. But I actually went for this one for my demo to do something different. But you've got the smaller ones, you've got the extra elements, you've got 3 sentiments on there, and then you get not just the metal to cut the butterflies out, but you get the metal to cut all the pieces out. Now I had real fun with this bit. This is actually the butterfly trail that you would leave behind the butterfly, but I've just used this as an embellishment in one of my later demos because I just love the shape of it, just to add a little bit of detail. When you think, oh, it just wants that bit of something, this one was great. So what we're going to do then, we're going to create a gift box, because we said, you know, some of the cards warrant being put in a box, and then I'm going to show you how to do those quilling flowers. It's almost like 2 demos for the price of 1 here, to actually show you how they work as well. So, just going to bring up my stamping mat, and the little one is all I need for this. And, oh Jan, I have to have everything the right way around. I can't even use the mat with this on the side. We were talking about OCD earlier. I can't even use it without it being the right way around, honestly.
That's
so I'm going to take, I sometimes worry myself with it. I'm like, oh, for goodness sake.
No, I think when it comes to crafting, I think, you know, it's funny, isn't it, how you have funny little rituals or whatever it might be. And when it comes to crafting, you want to do it properly, don't you, every time?
Well, it doesn't make any sense whether this is this way around or not. You know, it's, unless you're reading the numbers on it, but it's even got numbers down the side. But I just have to have, same as the platform, I have to have everything the right way around. So again, I don't know why I went for the same colour, but I ended up with the same ink pad as what we'd used last time. So I've got the plum jam again here. Now I've got the opaque pigment because the one that I've prepped ready, I've used that lovely clear embossing powder over it. But just to show you, I wanted to use the stamp to make a background this time as well as a focal point. And that's why I've got my little stamping platform as opposed to my, I'm always talking about the magnetic one, which I adore. But for this particular method, I want to use this one because I'm going to move it about. So taking the ink to the stamp, just tap in there to get that coating, and then literally wherever you fancy. So I want to just create a background on this piece of, and again, this is the stamping card that we were using earlier. I've used it all the way through my demo. So again, one, and then I'm going to ink up again and do exactly the same.
And what's the colour ink you're using there?
This is plum jam again.
Oh, it's plum jam
Yeah,
again.
I love that shade.
Your favourite today?
It is. I don't know why I ended up with this set. I'm a bit of a pink girl at heart. I have to stop myself from using pink on projects.
No, it's lovely though.
Whoops.
Especially when you use the clear emboss on top of it as well, because it gives it that lovely. It's almost like a glazed ceramic
makes
finish,
it look like glass. So again, I'm going to pop a little bit off the edge, and when you're doing this, always stamp off the edge. If you think about buying wrapping paper or anything like that, the design always goes off the edge, so don't worry about trying to fit everything inside the gap. So again, we're going to pop that there. And then let me just fetch my cloth, either a wet wipe, a wet cloth. I just use my dry one just to literally clean up the stamp. And then I'm going to take one of those little smaller butterflies as well off that sheet. So we'll bring this back in, and I'm just going to pinch one of the little ones. Okay. And then use the same ink just to fill in a couple of the gaps. So again, we've got one in the middle there, which we can fill a gap. And then again, I'm just going to fill in a couple of those edges. So we've got a little bit there, we've got a little bit. And don't be afraid to turn your stamp around a little tiny bit. We'll just use a second generation. Yep, okay. So that's created that background using the stamp. And then what I've done, just like we used the metal die element, so I've taken the large die off here, cut it out of that stamping card again, and I've done exactly the same as we did before. Let me turn it over so that you can see him better. Use that same ink, but I've used the embossing powder just over the top. And then just as if it wasn't sparkly enough, I decided I wanted a bit of extra sparkle. So I took this time my clear sparkle pen, which is eluding me. I think it's probably still on my desk at home, but just filled in the gaps with the sparkle pen. So he's got a little tiny bit of luster and sparkle going on there. Okay, so that's going to be my main feature. So boxes, we've done lots of demos. I'm not going to pay much attention to the actual box side of it today. That will probably come on a later demo on another show. So let me just get rid of the apparatus from down there.
Jan, just while you're putting all of that together, can I just ask you a quick question? This is a nosy question, actually.
You can.
I just wonder whether you've got your glitter markers that have just come out, or whether you've got any yet, whether you've seen them and had a play.
I've seen them. I haven't actually got my hands on them yet, and I am itching.
Okay.
They're on my wish list.
They are. Well, they're
on
actually
my wish list.
They're actually on Second Chance Sunday later. So if you get home in time for Second Chance Sunday, they're on the show later. Just
it's something I need to add because I love my sparkle pens, and I was watching the launch when they were originally launched, and my goodness, they're a definite add-on. Yeah.
Well, they're on later. I'm sure Debbie will be having a play with them at some stage later, so you can get some more inspiration because they are awesome.
So again, I've gone back to my glitter card again, just as an accent for this. But basically for the box, I've actually got, if anybody's wanting to recreate, I think I made this, Our cardstock here in the UK is 8¼ inches wide. I know it differs slightly for you guys in the US. I think yours is either 8 or 8½. So you could do this 8½ square just the same. I've gone for the width of the A4 and made it 8¼ square. And then I've done 1.5 inches for the sides of it. So we're going to end up with a box that measures 5¼ inches square. Okay, so I've cut a small piece of my lovely glitter card here to act as my mat. So the mat's the first one that goes down, and then your layer goes on top of it. So we've got a little bit of tape just on the back of here in preparation. Again, it could be your glues that you use if you want a wet glue on there. And I'm just going to centre this. It's slightly smaller. This one's 5 inches square, just to leave a little gap around. And I nearly always, sort of maybe 95–96% of the time, decorate my boxes while they're still flat, because you can press down, whereas when you've made it, you've got that hollow surface. So I like to decorate them while they're flat. I've just used a circle punch, as you can see here, just to take a little finger notch, so that when it's actually made, you've got something there to lift the box with. And then what I did with this part here, this was going to be my next layer, and it was a bit busy, and this is what I sort of worked through. I thought when we put this on here now, it's a little bit too busy for my liking because this is getting lost in the background. So all I did was add a piece of vellum over the top. So you can see the butterflies through the background. Did it exactly the same as this one. And then I've done a piece of vellum which I've passed through an embossing folder, and it just sort of dulls it off a little bit, but you've still got the detail there. And then this one now stands out much better on top of it.
Wow.
So that's going to be the basis of the box. So let me just pop that together quickly.
So going
we've
back
got
to
foam pads galore.
Going back to a mention of what was the other word for gutting?
Being frugal.
Being frugal. Going back to being frugal, you could have been frugal with your silver there as well.
I could definitely, yes. But because I have
you've been frivolous, haven't you, this time?
Oodles of stash. I have been very frivolous, yes. Yeah. It's weird. Sometimes I'm in that frame of mind where I think I need to keep it.
Well,
and then
Christmas.
My bit box gets uncontrollable because it gets so big with the bits that I've kept out of the middle. And then I'm thinking, where on earth am I going to put all these bits? So I tend to do it if I'm going to use it in that project. So if, for example, I wanted to cut this butterfly out of the silver to match, I would have cut him out of the middle of here before I add the other layer on top. Yeah? But because I didn't need any of the silver for the rest of this project, I've been a bit more frivolous and used it all. So again, just because I'm going on to glitter card, I've added that little bit of tacky glue to my foam pads. It just gives you a bit of extra insurance for it to stick into the glitter card. So again, that one's going to go on the top there. Well, very, very quickly, just pop this together. And I've already done the base because that wasn't necessarily what we were about. So we've got that lovely stamping going on. And then I want to show you, we're going to decorate this with some of those beautiful little flowers as well, because the collection is called Butterflies and Blooms. There are 2 quilling sets on today, and they are so easy to use. And
you're keeping us waiting for the flowers, aren't you?
I'm coming. So we've got the box there. I've got a little piece of the glitter to go inside the base as well. That one's going to go together, and we'll leave that to one side just for a second. So, you could stop there. I've stamped out of that stamp set again.
Well, again, back to price, Jan, just very, very quickly. I mean, you made a very, very inexpensive box there. And again, boxes that you want, never the right size, are they?
They're never the right size, they're never the right colour. They are. They charge a fortune for them. I don't know how they get away with it.
And sometimes you're left with a barcode on the back and a label which tears the paper on the back of the box. So you've got to cover that up in some way, haven't you?
So again, I've just used without change, there would be no butterflies. It's one of my favourite sentiments, and that's out that same stamp set, and that's going to go on here. So here we go then. We've been waiting for the quilling. So all I've got then, let's just pop that to one side for a second. I've chosen the peony. We've got on the show the peony and the climbing rose. So they will both work the same. It's the same concept for both of them. So I've just gone, peony is one of my favourites. So again, I picked that one first. And you get, again, the main piece, which is going to create your flower. And then there are some little extras. So you've got some leaves, you've got the little bit, is it the calyx springs to mind, but I don't know whether that's the right word. You know the bit that comes under the flower with the green leaves on? But I'm not sure on that. I would have to double check that. But yeah, most flowers have got like a little green element underneath them that they sit on. So what I've done is I've picked a little bit of pink card that's going to go with my project, and I'm going to lay this on and die cut it. And what we'll do is we'll pop it through the mini, because this does actually fit through our little mini. So again, just tape it down. I'm going to get rid of that piece off the end because we don't need that. And this just fits nicely inside that mini there. So again, I need to just take the top off it because it's pretty much a fit right inside the, there we go. Okay, and then bring my little friend up here and pass it through there.
I think the word that you were looking for, Jan, I've just search engined it.
Have you?
I think the word is sepal.
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 So you
Yeah, so it's just under the
right.
yeah, just under the.
I should know this because I used to teach it all, but my
petals,
goodness.
and then there's a green sort of leaf just sitting underneath, isn't
yes,
there?
Yeah.
Is that the part you were talking about?
Yeah, and that's the bit that you've got there with the dies just to finish it off.
Yeah.
So we've got our piece cut now. If we just release that from the die. Now what I found with this was if you're using single-sided paper, which I have here, the back of it's white. Now the first time I did this, I did it all together and I got a lot of white showing. So all I'm going to do this time is bring in the lighter. I'm back in my pink again, aren't I? And all I'm going to do on the back is just add a little bit of colour to the back of those petals so that when we do see the back of it, it all tones in with the project if you don't want the white showing. If you don't have a problem with the white, don't worry about it. If you've got a white matte and layer, it might look fine. But again, down to preference there. So we're going to use those just to add a bit of colour. And then it's actually, if we can get in close here, you can probably see better on the back than the front. Can you see how it's actually put the fold score line here along the centre? So we're going to fold it in half and we've got both sides of the petals going on, and I'm going to fold the design inside. So all I want to do is just tease where that little dotted line is here and fold it up, and I'm literally going to fold it in half and secure it. And what they've done, again, the thinking behind this is tremendous because we've got 2 layers now, so you only have to cut it once. And when you fold them together, can you see how one layer is actually falling between, it's alternating. So the back layer is here, the top layer, the back layer, the top layer. It's filled all the gaps. Superb. And then all I'm going to do in the centre of there, just to secure it, is run a bead of my tacky glue again. So again, you can see the wet glue comes in handy. If you've got the very, very narrow red line tape, you could pop that inside here, but I actually want to adhere this. So just down that side in the middle there, just down one side, I'm just going to run a bead of glue, and then I actually want to stick this together. So just hold it for a second there until that glue sticks, and we're going to work with it folded in half. And then we'll give it a little burnish just to make sure that that glue's behaving itself. Okay, and then we're good to go. Now then, it's called a quilling flower because we're going to quill, and that's a very, very old craft. It dates back to some very early times. I'm not sure of the dates exactly. Now, if you haven't got a quilling tool, you can actually use a little cocktail stick. You just want something to roll it around. Some people do it without the tool at all. We actually sell the quilling tools, so we've got them on the website in our gorgeous purple. And what they are is a tool, if you've not seen these before, they've got like a little gap. So if I slot my card in here, you can see that there's actually a gap in the end of the tool here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slot this into that gap, just right on the very end that's got the extra piece of paper. So it goes up to the larger petals at the top. I'm going to start with the smaller petals in the middle. So we're literally going to pop it on there, and then I'm going to start and roll it. Okay, and again, you don't actually need glue for this, but I do prefer to put the glue in it. It stops it unraveling. So I'm going to just run that bead of glue all the way down again. Again, you can do this with your tapes if you prefer to work with a dry tape, and then roll it. And I know now that this is going to secure it together. If you want a looser flower, and I'll show you at the end what I mean by that, then don't put the glue in because you can let it relax at the end. But then all the petals roll together. You're keeping it nice and flat at this side here. All right. Let me just put it here because the grid sometimes distracts us from what we're doing, I think. There we go, look. So I'm just keeping this side here level with the base of the flower. All those petals are folding up. We've gone from the smaller size, now we're getting to those larger ones. And then at the end, we're literally going to just hold that for a second until that glue takes. Just pop that back in there so that my glue doesn't dry out under all the lights. And then once that's joined together, you can see when we start and pull these back, how we're getting that lovely flower. And then literally grab the base. I grab the base between my thumb and finger and just wiggle that one out. Okay, and you can see there, they're just so pretty and so easy and so quick. And then you might want to stick a gem in the centre of there. You could have some little tiny buttons that would fit in there. If you use the pearl drops, you could use those. I just happen to have some glitter glue with me today, so I'm just going to pop a little bit of that in the centre there to make a centre of my flower. And then there's some, as if by magic, that I made earlier here, look, to go with it. And that works the same for the rose as it does for the peony. And again, depending what colour you use is what it looks like when it's finished. So let's just take that one off. We'll add, whoops. Do you know, it's been very friendly, this tape, this afternoon. Doesn't like to let go. Take the ones off there. And again, because I'm sticking onto vellum, I do usually add a little bit of extra glue to the back of the foam pads. It just gives you that insurance policy. As I say, the last thing you want if you're gifting something is bits falling off when you hand it to somebody. So we're going to pop this. I'll make sure my butterflies are the right way up. This one's going in the corner here. My butterfly, I've just shaped a little bit, and that one's going to go at the top here. And then I've got my glue gun on, if we've got enough wire there, and I'm just going to pop some hot glue under the edge of these and add these as extra decoration on my box there. And that's it.
Just going back to the history of quilling.
The quilling,
Jan.
yeah, it
yes,
dates back.
Dates back apparently to the 1400s.
I knew it was a while, yeah.
It was nuns apparently that sort of created quilling. They were decorating religious things that they made to make them look a bit more expensive. And then paper quilling apparently had its heyday in the 1800s, and apparently it was for basically the equivalent of today's ladies that lunch. It gave them an official pastime apparently.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, just a nice little gift box there. You could actually decorate the sides of that if you wanted to. And again, you know, if you were if you're into selling your things, you could actually make a nice little set of gift cards that fit in here, make the envelopes with the envelope makers and make them as a gift set to actually sell. I know we've not been able to do the craft fairs and things, but I know some people sell online on their online stores and things like that. So it's a great way. If you imagine that filled with some little 5x5 cards that we've made with the rest of the collection, that would look lovely. Yep.
Yeah, little selection. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? And of course you can do that. You're absolutely free to do that, which is fantastic. This is such a lovely collection, isn't it? Isn't it funny? Because on face value, you think it's a collection of, maybe you've got lots of butterfly collections, maybe you've got lots of floral collections, and you came into today's show thinking, well, I'll watch because I love watching, but I'm not going to be buying today. And actually, through the power of the demonstrations and the breadth of the things that you can do with this, you think, I've got to have this. I've got to have this because there are so many elements to it as well. Let's show you the details of the full collection again, because that's all the stamps and the dies that we've just seen. It's the dies, it's the sentiment dies, it's the quilling dies there as well. All of that for £62 or $84. I say that as a bit of a throwaway, actually, because most people are not paying that price, as you well know. If you're logged into the website, of course, your price will show up. If you're platinum, here in the UK, that's £49.60. And if you're in the US, it's $67.20, which is incredible. And not forgetting, of course, today is the final day where we can all enjoy triple Club Inspire points on every single pound or dollar that we spend, which is incredible. Now, colouring, we've done a lot of colouring in this show, haven't we? And we've got a couple of tri-blend selections in this show as well. The tri-blend markers are incredible. I know you know that already. So let's show you a couple of these selections that we've got. Just bearing in mind that if you've been meaning to, or you're putting them on your Christmas list, then these are brilliant because they've got the triple points on them as well, so which is superb. So you could just maybe say to the other half, right, okay, you've just bought my Christmas present. and here's what you owe me. Remember, of course, the tri-blends have 3 shades, are all curated 3 shades of the same colour. So you go from light to medium to dark. I bet I went the wrong way there. Yeah, I did. So from light to medium to dark. So 3 shades of the same colour. So for your blending, and you've seen plenty of Colour Me Happies and other shows here using the blending techniques. These are wonderful. So this is the Essential Blends selection. So all of those colours that you see there, you can see them in more detail on the website. And then there is another selection that we've got, which we call the Deep Blends, and you can see how that differs from that previous one as well. And these are $79.99 or $119.95. I say that, no one's probably paying that price either. This is such a good selection. I love this actually, because if you think about woodlands and butterflies and springtime, you think of all the different colours there. Remember, every one colour that you see there is in effect 3 different colours, so you don't need as many to start with, which I think is really good. Now, those of you who are new to Crafters Companion probably hear all this mention of Club Inspire and think, right, okay, is this something I need to join? Do I need to pay for it on a regular basis? How does it all work? The easiest way is for me to hand over to Sarah, I think it will be. Will it be Sarah? Yes, Sarah can explain everything there is to know, because bear in mind, it's triple points, and it's the final day for triple points today because we're celebrating the anniversary of Club Inspire. And here's Sarah to tell you more.
Welcome to Club Inspire, our free loyalty club. As a member of the club, you can save up to 20% every time you shop with us. For every £1 you spend, whether it's in one of our stores or on our website, you'll collect 1 loyalty point. The more points you have, the more benefits you'll receive. As a welcome present, we'll give you 20% discount with your very first order. Once you place your first order, you'll be given 250 points straight away, making you a bronze member. This will mean that you'll receive a 5% discount on all of your purchases until the end of the next calendar year, plus priority postage. 500 points takes you up to silver membership, where you'll get 10% discount plus free shipping when you spend over £20. When you get to 750 points, you'll become a gold member, which gets you a whopping 15% discount on every order, and we'll ship them to you completely free, no matter how big or small they are. Spend over £25 and we'll send them to you via our premium next day delivery courier service. When you reach 1500 points, you'll become a platinum member, giving you the same shipping benefits as a gold member, but with the added bonus of a massive 20% discount on all of your purchases. Now, on top of that, you'll receive exclusive discounts, sneak peeks of brand new products, special offers and money-saving vouchers. You'll have access to an exclusive secret Facebook group to meet like-minded friends, to find out information first and to be inspired by all the Crafty makes. We'll send you a completely free quarterly Digimag direct into your inbox, giving you lots of hints, tips, inspiration, additional offers and some sneaky behind the scenes gossip from the team. So what are you waiting for? Become a member of our club today.
Now, just tell me for a second, and I know I'm still relatively new to Crafters Companion. I've been here about 5-6 months, something like that, maybe longer. But what other company that you shop with on a regular basis says to you, okay, come do your shopping with us, get amazing demonstrations for free along the way every single day of the week, and then once you reach a certain level, you don't need to sign up, you don't need to pay a monthly charge, you don't need to do anything, but the more you spend, the more discount you get. And it's not just like a one-off. Well done, you've spent $1,000. Here's a $10 voucher to use once. 20% off every order that you place once you reach platinum. I mean, everyone's a winner, aren't they? Particularly today as well, remember, because we're celebrating the anniversary of Club Inspire as well. So today, anything you spend, any pound or dollar that you spend today, we give you 3 Club Inspire points for every pound or dollar you spend. It's bonkers. So with that in mind and everything we've learned over the last couple of hours, should we break down what is the larger bundle into its smaller bundles, and then just show you the sort of cumulative value really. Let's start with the quilling dies, because, you know, having just seen them, and lots of people saying, oh, actually, you know what, I haven't seen quilling done like that before. This is the Peony and the Climbing Rose. They're absolutely amazing. Crafting with Quilling Lady on YouTube says, I love quilled flowers. I made a bouquet for my mum's 60th birthday and a heart with 50 flowers for my parents-in-law for their 50th wedding anniversary. So it's not just for card making, it's for decor, it's for wonderful heartfelt gifts as well. That's amazing value considering how much you will use it. If you buy from a craft store a little bunch of 5 paper roses, compare the price with how many paper roses and peonies you can make and make and make and make, and you can have them colour you want that coordinates with the projects that you want them to. It's amazing. I want them. Let's look at the stamp and dies in this collection as well. Sharon Callis, by the way, who designed this collection, is an absolute genius. I mean, an absolute genius. Beautiful, beautiful images. They are incredible. Butterfly Love and Butterfly Friendship are the 2 options that you have in here. Well, they're not options, you're getting them both there. £23, $30.50. We've also got the metal die collection. Now that's where we started this show, so you've only joined us halfway through, and I know a lot of you have joined us later in the show. You need to check these out. This is Vanessa and Mariposa. It's thinking of you and sending love, metal dies. And to say metal dies, honestly, it's like looking through the letterbox into Wonderland. You need to have seen the demonstrations to see all of the elements, because Jan has taken you through all of the elements and how diversely you can use all of those individual elements as well, which is brilliant, you lucky, lucky people. Next, we are looking at the full collection. So if you want the rose quilling dies, the stamps and dies, and those metal dies with the butterflies and the sentiments as well, here they are. This is the most popular option. You're loving this today. Especially, I think triple points is helping. Do you know what I mean? Triple points, and lots of people having gone platinum through triple points as well. So if you're platinum in the US, this is just $67.20 for all of this. And you'll use this again and again and again. In the UK, £49.60. Remember, any order over £40 or $40, and you are getting that free Christmas tree decoration as well, which is a little stocking this year. It's beautiful. And all of the proceeds from that, if you want to buy extra ones of those, you can on the website as well. They are £5.99 or $8.99. All the profits from those are going to the Bradley Lowry Foundation as well, which is really, really helping families, particularly here in the UK, but internationally as well, into research into child cancers and to accessing for families treatments for rare cancers in children as well, so access treatments that aren't available necessarily on our existing health systems as well. So it's doing amazing well, and I know there's so much money going that way as well. You're all so wonderful. You're all buying 2s and 3s and buying gifts for other people as well. So bless you. So if you want the details for that, any order today over £40 or $40, you'll get one for free. But we'll still make a donation even on those free ones. And if you want to buy extra, there's the details for them as well, which is superb. And don't forget, triple points on those as well, which is brilliant. So the main collection you are absolutely loving. I think we've still got a little wee bit of time. In fact, we've still got 20 minutes. I love this show, Jan, today, because I feel like I want it to go on forever and ever and ever. I feel like I've made a real nice instruction manual of Jan's top tips already today.
Bless you. I'm just going to add a little bit to your Club Inspire details, Derek, because not only, like you say, is that a fantastic free club to be a part of, but you know the bit I like best, and this is why we're stressing this now today, because these points end at midnight, so the triple points end, you would just go back to your normal points. Any people that are on the, what I call the bridge of their next level, so it's not just platinum, we offer the other 3 levels as well with discounts. If you're on the bridge of your next level, if you can do that by using the advantage of the triple points today, not only will you achieve that and think, yes, I've done it, I've got to the end of the year and maybe I've got to platinum. We hold that platinum level for you all the way through next year. So if you get to platinum by the end of this year and you enjoy the 20% discount, that is applicable all the way through 2021 as well. So we secure that for another 12 months. Your points are reset at the beginning of next year, and you start building those again next year. So what you spend next year builds up. If you don't reach your goal, so for example, if you're platinum and you don't get back to platinum, you would come down to the level below, which is gold. If you're, for example, reached silver this year and you spend more and go into the next bracket, you would move up next year accordingly. But whatever you achieve this year, we will hold that and give you 12 months at that level. And I just think that I haven't come across anywhere else that offers that kind of inspiration. And as I say, there's no joining fee. It's free to sign up on the website and you can enjoy those points. But the fact that there's triple on today, honestly, it does make a big difference to those of you, you know, you might be bridging from bronze to silver, you might be silver to gold, you might be gold trying to get to your platinum level, because that's the biggest jump. Take advantage, really do. Right, so back to that, we're going to go jump to the home decor one, I think, because I did promise you that I would do this one, and we're going to go back to the Mariposa set, and then I've just snuck a little sentiment in from the Butterfly Friendship set, so I've just stamped the sentiment for this one in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a piece of home decor, but I want to cut the die first. So I've taken just the filigree element of the die, and I'm going to use some gold mirror card on there. You can see that just catching the light there. So we're going to pop that through, and because it's mirror card, I don't think we'll need the metal shim in there. It was just the glitter card, because it's got that coating that I added the metal shim in. We'll pass that through, and then I've chosen yellow, which again I think is from that same pad, Derek. I think it's from the is it the summer pad that's got the yellow tones in it?
It's the pastels.
The textured cardstock.
Yes, the pastels one.
Right.
Has lots of yellows in it.
So let me just take that off there then, and then we've got that lovely, just poke the bits. The mirror card is gorgeous to cut from, because the bits tend to just fall out by themselves, but just look in that gold mirror card, just how beautiful. Just that on its own looks, and we've got a rogue piece trying to hang on there we go. I just think that is stunning just on its own. Yep, and then just for speed, I was going to cut the yellow one out of some yellow cardstock, but I've already done this one and literally got that ready to go. In the centre, I've added some gold gems in the middle just to pick up the gold mirror card. So what we're going to do with this one then, let me just get rid of all those bits out of the way. I've actually made at home one of the box frames, okay? So literally just out of Centura Pearl, I've got that same yellow cardstock as what I cut the butterfly from in the middle there. And do you remember earlier I was saying that the stamp set had those lovely squiggly bits in?
Yes.
Yeah, this is actually the trail that the butterfly would normally leave. You know, if you imagine having it like this with the little swirly trail here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just thought they made a lovely sort of decoration for the for this piece.
Yes, it does.
So stuck stamping card again on the back, nice and secure on the back of it. And then I had a play with some of my aqua tints and made a background. So we're going to stick that inside there. So let me just take that tape off, and I'm going to add a bit of collal as well, just in the middle of there, because we're going cardstock to cardstock again, just to secure it in the back there. And then I'm just going to have, I've just cut it slightly smaller than the aperture in there, so that we've got a bit of the, just try and look through there. I just want to get like a border all the way around, that's better. Okay, and that's going to be my backdrop. And then what I've done at home is I've cut this piece a couple of times again out of the yellow that was left over to make a decent weight piece. Rather than just the single layer, I wanted it again to be quite substantial, so it's got a little bit of depth to it. And then this one, you can see here exactly the same. It's just been through my Xyron again, and it just makes it a little bit quicker for us when we're demoing to have this at the ready. So again, just like you saw me do earlier, be nice and gentle, just taking it off that carrier sheet because it's had the pressure on there. Just release it all the way around, and I'm going to stick this over the top of those other layers. I don't want to see the lemon because that's not going to show against my background, so I'm going to stick this one on top. Okay, I think I've stuck it down a bit too well. There we go. So just ease it off gently. As I say, you don't want to tear it when you've gone to the trouble of doing your die cutting. Release all those little filigree pieces, and then again, because it's been die cut, pick a point where you're going to start on here, and it will line up perfectly. Because it's been die cut, you know that you're going to get that perfect pairing with it. So if you tried to cut these out by hand, gosh, it'd take you forever. But can you see how that's lining up perfectly over the top of the other one?
You just gave me shivers there, Jan.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be pretty wicked with a craft knife. I know some people do. That is a craft form in its art.
Is it?
Yeah. And honestly, my hat goes off to people that can do that, because I'm not so good.
I think that could put me off crafting in half an hour, trying to do something as detailed as that even once. You've got it, what, 3 times there?
Yep.
Oh, no
So
way.
again, we'll go with the tacky glue on the back there, and I'm just going to pop little dots here and there just so that we've got it stuck. Go around the frame. Again, you could use your dotty tape pen. I just like the, you know, the security that the wet glue gives you. So all the way around, just picking out areas that have got like a loose element to it. So the edges of the leaves, things like that, just to make sure it's secure.
If you haven't got those fine tip applicators, by the way, go and find them on the website. Just literally search the word fine tip and you'll find them if we've got them in stock there, and stock up on those, because you'll just, once you start using them, you'll just love them.
It just gives you a bit more precision, because sometimes glue can come out quite quick.
Yeah.
I know one of the things that I noticed when I was teaching was that in general, and I was guilty of this as well, is that we often use way too much glue. You only need a little bit. It goes a long way. And I think I used to be very heavy-handed, and then it goes what we fondly refer to as the mayo technique, because you press it down and it all squidges out the side. Yeah, like your mayo comes out your sandwich.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just a little bit, and that's stuck. And the background was watercolour card, if anybody's interested in that one, because I was using the aqua tints, which are water based. I've just gone for watercolour card. And then we're going to pop our butterfly, which I've cut with that die that was the partner to this one. So he's been cut, and again, I've done him a couple of times because this was a home decor piece. I wanted it to be, you know, quite substantial. I didn't want any flimsy parts on it that were going to get damaged.
Well, it's a forever thing, I suppose, isn't it?
So he lines up beautifully inside there, just leaving that little border, and I've just stuck the centre down so that we can literally have all that 3D element with the wings there. And then, as I say, the stamp is from the Butterfly Friendship. So a bit of mix and match here. We had those lovely butterflies with all the sentiments, and this one just says, be your own kind of beautiful, which again, it's a lovely sentiment. And I'm going to go for this bottom corner here along, and then it looks as if that one is coming out of the top there.
Jan, just quick question just along the way there. The frame that you're using, sorry, I missed as well at the beginning. Is that one that you've made, or is that one that you bought?
No, I've made this one.
Okay, and is there a die for that?
We do actually sell dies that make square frames on our website. If you pop to the website, you can get them at different sizes. I think they start at 5, 6, 7 and 8 that make these, but they make up a square, and I wanted a rectangle to encompass this. So I've just sort of almost deconstructed it and made the panels and then stuck it together myself. It's the same process as what you go through with the die. They're just separate pieces rather than the die, you put it all together. So then again, we had the foam flower masterclass a little while ago, and again I've got loads of bits left. So I just thought, again, we'd use this. Now, it could just as easily be those quilling flowers that they have in the, you know, this collection. But I just wanted something a wee bit bigger for this. And you remember we were making those lovely Christmas roses when I was here doing that masterclass. So I just thought these lent themselves beautifully. I've got those hairs going on again. All right, to this particular one. And then I've got a little one to go just to balance it again in that top corner. As I can say, these could just as easily be the ones from the collection, but I just wanted something a little bit bigger, as I say, to balance it out. They were a bit small for this type of design. So we're going to go, I've got a couple of extras. We'll put one little tiny one there and one just at the top of the sentiment.
Quick word to the wise, that strap at the bottom, which is impending our view at the moment of what's going on, but...
Oh, let me just lift up a bit. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you, Jan. The gems
looking.
that are mentioned right at the bottom of the screen there, we haven't been able to show you them because we've got such small stocks, but everything is there for the taking as well. There's two selections. There's a glitter selection, and there's also a shimmer selection as well. And you get 8 sheets of them in that selection for the price as well. If you want to have a look at those, have a look on Shop the Show and you'll find them.
So again, that's our finished piece. You could actually pop a hanging, piece of ribbon on the back to hang it if you wanted to. It would stand up. You could put, if you wanted to make a really nice feature card, you could actually make a card blank to fit on the back of it so that it opened. You could actually make a hinged piece that would close over the front. So many different ways of using, but I just think those dies speak for themselves. When you look at it in there, it's a proper striking feature piece there on its own. So that one was the Mariposa metal die mainly in there. Okay.
Love it, Jan. I love everything you've done today.
Thank you.
It's been incredible, and it's not just it's. The funny thing is, it's not just about the end result, is it? It's about the journey and all of the different ideas. You've given us some amazing ideas from softening a background that you've made with vellum.
Yep.
It's just so it gives that slight kind of difference in tone.
Diffuses it a little bit. Yeah,
allows the main attraction to jump out. The gutting or being frugal. I mean, all of that. Oh my word, we've learned so much. There is your main collection there at £62.84. You've got all of the dies, the stamps and dies there, plus the flower quilling dies as well. Plus, remember, triple points. I mean, that a lot of you have got your orders in on the basis that, hey, you know what? It's triple points, so I'm going to take advantage of that. And actually, we've got a celebration as well going on. And it is, let me just check, because somebody's just gone up a level and we need to celebrate it. And who was it now? Someone's just gone gold and my messages have just jumped. Crafting with Quilling Lady said it's my first year platinum. I was also always very close, but this year I managed to get to platinum.
Excellent.
And I loved it as well. It's Amy Smithson McDonald on Facebook we're celebrating with right now. She's gone gold.
Excellent. Well done, Amy.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So that's
well done.
15% discount.
I know.
Yeah.
That's going on every order for a year. It's bonkers. Right, let's talk glue quickly before we go. We'll start with the dotty tape pen. Always an essential. If you haven't managed to get a Xyron yet, or you want something that's just to hand for those fine, intricate die cuts to stick those down, £4.99, $6.95. Next up, we've got the all-purpose. I'm doing this quickly now because we're about to run out of time. The all-purpose 100 milliliter bottle there, £2.99 or $7.95. Then we've got our tacky glue, and I was just reading the back of the tacky glue as well for a second, so forgive my big head, it might be in the way. But it also sticks, as well as we use for crafting, obviously, you can use it for lots and lots of things around the house as well. You can use it for paper and cardboard, which we know, textiles, ceramic, plaster, rhinestones, wood, leather, plastic. It's really clever. I mean, actually, I remember now, who was it who told me? Was it Debbie Robinson or was it Sarah Davies? Said that they've done a lot of house repairs. This is like these and the all-purpose. They're like having, that silicone kind of like glue that you can buy for bathroom repairs and whatever. That can step in as a substitute for many things like that. Has that happened to you, Jan? I'm getting the...
Honestly, yeah, it is. And as I said, the collal as well, it's got lots of different uses. I mean, we're paper crafters, so we always talk about paper and cardstock, but yeah, tons of different things that you can do with it.
This as well, your 3D glue gel is absolutely brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant. Can I just advise you to, while we're triple points and everything else, do yourself a favour. I mean, it's about a toothpaste tube size, isn't it? The 3D gel.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
It does go a long way, but you'll need more than one. I'm telling you right now, once you get into the magic that is the 3D glue gel, you'll go through it. I promise you, because for adding dimension to your cards, and you'll refill your syringe over and over again. It does come with a fine tip applicator and comes with the magic key as well. And that magic key, and it's very simple. You just pop it into the end of the tube, and as you turn the key, that's how you'll then fill your syringe. It's really, really clever.
It reminds me of the old tinned meat.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes. You know corned beef. You all know corned beef. Do you know corned beef, Erin? Yeah. Is it called corned beef in the US as well? Yeah. So the tin for those used to come with a little metal key, and you'd hook that on a metal part of the tin, and you'd turn it round, and it would take a tiny strip right the way around the can, and then you'd pull the two sides. It was very dangerous, really dangerous, like not safe at all. And then you'd sort of have to shake the corned beef out of the tin and hope that it came out without you suffering severe injury. Anyway. Jan, can I just say a massive, massive thank you?
You're welcome.
And when are you back on Crafters TV?
I'm back on Wednesday, actually.
Oh,
I've got
fabulous.
lots of goodies. I'm here for another masterclass on Wednesday morning.
Wonderful.
And then I'm doing Creative Cravings Wednesday afternoon, so it's a double on... we're back to the J&J show, I think, on Wednesday. Our Joe's back on Wednesday. So, yes, I will see you then.
And somebody asked very, very quickly, I've got to ask you, because somebody said in the comments earlier, that dry cloth that you had earlier, is that the one that got Joe into trouble the other day? I don't know what that means.
This is actually the clean version of the cloth that got Joe into trouble. Joe and Debbie, yeah.
Right.
This is actually the clean version. If you saw the one that I have at home, honestly, it can tell 1,000 stories, it can. They were originally pillowcases. It's upcycling,
Oh, really?
you see. I don't like throwing anything. You ask my husband, I hate throwing anything away. Subsequently, I'd probably come under the hoarder bracket. But just recycling, and the lovely dry cloth, nice and smooth, so you don't get any bits come off it.
Fabulous. Yeah. Thank you, Jan.
You're welcome.
See you on Wednesday. Listen, we have got for you Second Chance Sunday coming up later with our lovely Debbie Robinson. There is so much in that show, I can't even begin to tell you. And tomorrow, we've got a masterclass with Joe and Sarah, and it's the Exploding Box and Folder, and you're going to love that. And there's also Monday Makers with Joe and Debbie tomorrow as well. Talking of Debbie, she'll be back with me in less than an hour's time. So go and enjoy something. I don't know, glass of something. Hot, cool, well, it might be breakfast time where you are, probably hot. See you back here in an hour with Debbie for Second Chance Sunday. Be there.